Hey guys, it's Steve here from the Living North channel. I was inspired today to do a slightly different video than many of you are accustomed to seeing. Most of the videos on the channel, as you know, are us doing things up at the cabin and kind of sharing that space with a lot of you. Although we do have some different videos. A lot of them were featured up in Alaska. However, I have since moved back to the Midwest. So the Alaska videos will be fewer and further between. Hopefully there will still be some when I'm up visiting friends, most likely in the summer times. But today I wanted to kind of give you a look at a bike that I purchased. It is a new to me bike. It is a used bike. But I ended up leaving the bike that I had up in Alaska up there, since it wasn't really the best option for around here, which features kind of a lot of hills, and that was more of a downhill style bike. Wasn't very comfortable to ride for very long distances for me personally. So I saw this bike on Craigslist, ended up talking to the people. We came to an agreement, and the bike went home with me. So this particular bike here is a Specialized Cirrus disc. I'm not sure exactly on the year. It might be 2016 or maybe 2015, but it is a few years old. But it was in excellent condition. And then I have since done a few different things to make it a little bit more winter commuter friendly, because if it were up to me, I'd try to ride the bike as much as I can to work, and that's kind of the plan I'm going to roll with, barring super sub-zero temps. I'd like to think that I can ride to work most days. So first things first, I figured it's got fairly narrow tires. They're 700 C diameter tires, and I ended up getting a set of studded tires for the bike. The stock tires are 700 by 32. These are 700 by 30 actually, so they're actually slightly narrower, but these are the 45 North Xerxes. And so if we look, they've got a couple sets of studs kind of on the outside there, and then this is the 120 tread per inch style. They have slightly less aggressive version of the tire as well that you can find out there, but this is a little bit more aggressive version. It's got the studs, and really what you want to do with that particular tire, from what I could tell, is when it's fairly clear out, there's not much snow or ice, you can pump the tire up to, I believe it's 70 or maybe 75 pounds of pressure. Let's see, max 75 PSI. So pump it up to 75, and the stud shouldn't really engage, and so you can roll with slightly less resistance. And then if it is more snowy or particularly more icy, then drop the pressure down, and that's gonna, have the tires ride a little flatter, and then those studs will engage. So I had heard some mixed reviews, although I've ridden it several times now, including just this ride to work where I was timing how long it would take me, and I thought they performed well. And I was riding on a lot of this mixed stuff, so there's a lot of clear asphalt, but also there's a lot where there's this thick, this thick slippery ice, some of which will cover the whole section of the trail, which you can see up there as an example. So I was riding on a lot of just sheer ice. Here's kind of another look the other way, and there was patches where it was long sections of completely sheer ice, and really they worked quite well. I never really slipped, never felt like I was going to slip. I was also not pushing the pace, so timing today was kind of at a pretty slow, safe, leisurely pace. So that was kind of the first big addition, was adding those. Then I also added these set of fenders. Just again, if I'm going to be commuting or riding this bike a lot in winter and summertime, I don't want stuff flying up and getting me dirty and that while I'm riding. So certainly those fenders will accomplish that job. And then the last thing is they came with some fairly slick, cheap plastic pedals. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's marketed as a fitness bike, so you know, they'll get people out and riding, no doubt about it. But I went to my favorite local bike shop and ended up picking up a new pair of pedals. Now these are, I guess technically, mountain bike pedals. They're the Race Face Chesters, pretty popular pedal out there. But for this bike, I think they're going to be nice because they've got the really thick, long cleats on them, and so you know, when I'm riding, if I've got snow in my boots, things like that, I should still get a pretty good grip. And man, that's made a world of difference so far. This is my first kind of big ride with this bike since I put the new pedals on, and I think they're going to be awesome for that. They make a bunch of different colors. I figure the red kind of goes with some of the red accents on the bike, just because the other colors didn't really mix and match and they didn't have the black pedals. So I got that. I had an old road bike that I sold a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago or so, and I took the under seat saddlebag, and I carry tools in case I have a flat tire, things like that, CO2 pressure gauge, although I do have a pump pressure gauge as well that I can, or a pump style hand pump that I can use as well. I'll probably throw in as a backup. And then I also got this top tube bag. This is one of the Sodero top tube bags, so I just picked that up the other day when I picked up the pedals, and man, that's been a pretty slick bag so far as well. This one is a wax canvas, kind of a limited edition one. It's got foam on the inside, carries, you know, a decent amount of stuff. I had the cell phone in there when I was timing my ride. Got some keys. It's got a little side pouch in there as well. Just straps onto it and stays on there fairly stiff and rigid, which is pretty nice. So that's my first bag of theirs, and depending on some of the other style of biking I might do, who knows, I might pick up some other bags, but for now that one is perfectly fine for me. So so far so good. You know, this test run I did to work took me about 30 minutes, going pretty slow to make sure I wasn't going to fall, and it was pretty much 30 minutes exactly. That included kind of like trying to find where I was going to park and do all that, since I start a new job on Monday. So wanted to get an idea of where to go. So anyway, this is the rig I'll be using. Again, I know it's a little bit different style video than we typically do, but I appreciate you guys watching. If you do have any questions, comment. I'd be happy to answer them for you, or want kind of my impressions after a little while on some of the additions. Mainly, I think most of it will be based on the tires. That's always kind of a question I have, is how well they work. And this is the first set of studded tires I've ever used on a bike. So so far so good, happy with it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no crashes as I start to do some daily commutes to work. And yeah, we'll keep you apprised. Hopefully you like these little alternative videos. Certainly let us know, give us a thumbs up, and we will certainly also continue to do a lot of the cabin videos. So stay tuned, and there'll be more content to come soon.